Good afternoon, I'm Colin Tutchin and welcome to the National Concert Band Festival. I hope you'll find this video useful. It may be the first time you've had the opportunity to examine closely the relationship between the gestures you make and the resulting sound differences the players produce, or you may be very familiar with this process. Either way, it can add to your work and take you and the band even higher. There is, of course, a big difference between rehearsal skills and performance, so all I can do today is draw attention to a couple of things that strike me as particularly effective and successful. You'll be able to study this video at your leisure and discover more connections about what you see is what you get. One way you might consider using this video is with the sound down. Watch the silent gestures you make and decide what sounds you expect to produce from the band and whether the degree of change in the sound you expect from the gesture is actually what happens on the day. Beyond this, sit back and enjoy your performance as we're about to do, and congratulations on the achievement with your players of reaching the Nationals here today. Hello. Great start. There's a lovely sense of line through everything, even the rhythms. It's lovely. No wonder we're hearing a polished performance, because your conducting is so clear, expressive and complete. However much has been done in rehearsal, you're reinforcing all the expressive and rhythmic details that you've worked on, so that the confidence of the players is complete. That was a very nice gesture there, a sort of hooded grow effect to get the diminuendo. Even a bit of playfulness in the beating there. It's lovely, expressive work. The gestures you make are constantly varied, applying to different sections, different accents, different priorities of sound. You helped there with shaping the solo, but the soloist didn't necessarily follow everything you showed. It was quite well played, but maybe your gestures would give it a little bit more. You certainly made it rise and fall a bit more. Not everybody's picking up your rhythm there. You are clear, but the saxes aren't all together. It's the fourth beat pickup. Now, there was a little moment there where the band and you were not quite in synchronization, but they were pretty well together themselves. When this happens, it's because you're changing to the lyrical, expressive beat, yet there's still some rhythmic music going on. However, that section didn't suffer at all from any problem. All very clear and making very good sense of the musical textures and structures. You even got time to smile at them. And they certainly deserve it. very good that you have extra strength and energy for those gestures as the final section of the music comes to a head. That was wonderfully invigorating and a wonderfully complete interpretation. All of you working extremely well as a team and selling the music to the audience without any doubt. Great stuff. Yeah, the second crescendo worked a little bit better than the first. The first one, it almost you had to do too much. The second one was just right. Of course, a lot of this is all to do with about sensitivity on every stand. People being aware of how to play their note inside a chord, on top of, underneath a chord, moving together, articulating cleanly but without accent and so on. Really difficult music, but beautiful when it's right. And so much of this has a lovely tender quality. I think you could do all of this with less movement. You may do what a lot of us do, is exaggerate our gestures in the hope it will encourage more reaction. But what happens is people then only react to the big gestures. If we work on the small gestures, they learn to use those and to relate to those. If you can do this in the next rehearsal or two, with moving only about 2 inches where you're moving 2 feet, see what happens. See there, you're moving the right hand beat is much smaller, it's just enough. And I love the way you stand back from the stand and give yourself space and make space in the musical texture. You did the right thing there. The actual band sound, not so much of the cymbals, but of the chord, didn't actually generate the same resonance that I think your gesture asked for. And you just delayed the climax there, but without leading it forward, so the sound held. There was a feeling of a slight gap before the climax. Lots of very nice work there. The final note from the timp, obviously he wants to be quite gentle. You wanted to give the player confidence, but you could do that again with a smaller gesture, I think, and still get the same qualitative result. But super playing and a really sensitive response, again, to the musical score on all stands. It's a difficult opening, this, for balance, always is. We've got to try and get the melodic detail or the tonal detail out, not just the brilliance and the noise and the pizzazz. And we've already slowed down. Not sure what's happening in the percussion or if you're wanting it to be slower. I think it's the percussion have pulled it back and you've gone with them. And maybe you are on the clarinet side as well. And I think you're all trying to push it back up a bit now. Set the trumpets. Yeah, we're not quite gelling on the downbeats at the cadence points. It's partly a percussion thing about bass drum, snare drum rhythm. I think another thing is also the speaking time of the bass. That's better. You're more relaxed as well there. You've got a slightly stronger, clearer beat. You were a bit worried earlier, I think. That's well measured. The way we got down into the calm music and the pace and the space you're giving to it, all working very well. I suspect you would like a little bit more rise and fall within each line. What you're creating is very nice, but I think your gestures and your feeling for the music suggest a little bit more expansiveness. Some nice layers and levels of sound in the texture there. And it's good that you have the control of hands in different ways to create those different aspects of sound. when they do go together like this, it helps and creates a lovely smoothness. You brought your hands together very nicely at the end of phrase. The players didn't all come into that simple sound. Your gesture's good. It just needs a little bit more reaction from all the players. Maybe those left-hand backhand gestures aren't quite so clear. And this is a bit too linear. It needs a little bit more shape to go from the note, as it were, that's harmonically consonant to the discord. It's one of those pieces where you have to beat the three, but really everybody has to feel one. That texture is not quite as defined as others you've created earlier, in both the harmony and in the resonance between the harmony notes and the melody notes. It's well placed and well controlled through this. The intonation is not too sure. There's not much you can do as a conductor, but you can perhaps use your left hand to support the sound, use the supporting gesture to help them realize to hold it up. And I can see you're slightly wanting to push ahead here, percussion again, and not really going with you. But you're being very patient. It's opening up a bit now. The third beat's there with the woodwind swirls. We weren't quite together on the resolution onto the downbeats. I think you're quite subtly making it move ahead just a little bit here. If possible, it just wants to have a little bit more pulse to this, just a little bit more push forward. But also, there's a danger when we do these 1, 2, 3 pieces that we don't invest enough effort and energy in the first beats. We don't play with enough air on ones, so we lose this essential lilt. It's all right when there's an accent like that. Well, it was a very dramatically powerful ending where you really were very much in control, each of the players on their part and yourself of the score and the band. Very impressive performance with some wonderful textures and wonderful sonorities and excellent music making throughout. Really impressive programme. Marvellous to watch and to listen to. Congratulations. All the best for the future.